Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So over the past few weeks, I have been pretty disappointed with the information I was forced to provide on this channel because it really does seem like all doom and gloom. So today I decided to share with you guys what experts are saying about the current state of the industry as well as the future of the trucking industry. And then we'll break it down and see if it's valid. Ready? Let's go! So the one question that everybody wants an answer to is, when is this industry finally going to get better? Because we are all at the end of our rope, and 2 years of this mess is way too long. It is anything but normal because down cycles usually last on average about 12 months. Well, on March 22nd, FreightWaves released an article about what the near future of the trucking industry might look like. And while Craig Fuller admits that tender rejections will be probably the first signal of what is happening with the market, and currently tender rejections are just marginally better than in 2023. The article states, and I quote, "March is traditionally kind of a transition month, not just for the weather, but for freight as well. I think typically we do see some volumes kind of start cranking up a little bit, nothing that's terribly dramatic, but it does signify kind of a turning of a doldrum of the winter into something a little bit more active." Fuller said spring is when products and commodities such as construction materials and home and gardening supplies start moving. The big box retailers do really well in this time of year because of the gardening and yard work that people need to do. Summer apparel is also important, and let's not forget beverages. This time of year, beverages are in hot demand, and when we get to Memorial Day, beverages will heat up. This is always a good time for freight because it's the spring season. So this was the first part I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into, and I wanted to look at volumes in the general freight market. Do they actually start picking up in March and April? Well, as you can see the chart right here, I pulled data from the Sonar website over the past 5 years, and we can see that April is really not a time when volumes usually make a shift upwards. It's usually somewhere in May. But what about the spot market? So I had to do a little bit of digging to find more historical data on the spot market, and I found this chart from the DAT load board from 2014 to 2018, which were slightly more normal years than we have experienced in the past 4 years. And for the most part, just like we saw in the general freight market, volumes usually start picking up somewhere in May, but not before. But as always, while volumes are something that we care deeply about because it translates into the amount of loads we see on the load board in the contract market, the thing that's making everything really go haywire right now is capacity. We have seen that this month alone, there were 2 times where capacity actually increased on a net level week over week after over a year of capacity constantly decreasing. And of course, this is making me panic, it's making you panic, and it's just illogical. So why is capacity still holding strong? Why are the current market conditions, given the fact that rates are down in the dumps, that expenses are up to wazoo? Is that the correct expression? I think so. It feels right. How is it possible that capacity is not being pushed out? Well, the Journal of Commerce actually has a theory, and they state, and I quote, "U.S. trucking companies are not only working for less in terms of lower rates, but they are also doing more work, and that's contributing to a prolonged surplus in truck capacity." In a survey of more than 2,000 motor carriers released Tuesday, Freight Marketplace Truck Stop found its respondents significantly increased their workload in 2023, driving an additional 3,000 miles on average and handling 2 additional loads per month. My personal experience is exactly in line with this finding. My business partners, for example, are choosing to stay out longer on the road in order to survive long enough to see this market finally change. But what the Journal of Commerce article also explains is that while the number of authorities dropped by over 24,000 in 2023 net, and over 4,600 in the first 2 months of 2024. They say, and I quote, "The remaining motor carriers are picking up some of the slack left by exiting competitors. In effect, trucking companies stayed in business by taking on more freight while absorbing more costs as spot and contract rates dropped." And I have to agree with this point as well. So in the spirit of transparency on this channel, I will share with you how we make money in the company in the current situation. For the first 3 weeks of every single month, every load, all of that income goes towards covering our expenses. And our expenses are pretty high because we have financed trucks, we have rented trailers. On one of our companies, the insurance is extremely high because we do hire newer CDL holders there. So in the first 3 weeks, not a cent of the money that we make goes towards our net income. The last week of each month is when we start making money towards our net because there are no more expenses left other than fuel and payroll. So I do understand why my business partners choose to stay out on the road more. I am beyond grateful to my team members, my drivers, for the fact that they also choose to work longer, because if we were to go back to how we used to operate, 3 weeks out, 1 week home, the current market would absolutely crush us. And I'm curious to hear how you guys make money, if you're open to sharing. How quickly every month do you start working towards that net income instead of covering your expenses? So to wrap this up, I just want to say that there is something to be hopeful for, right? In the month of May, traditionally, this is when volumes start picking up. I was also somewhat relieved to read about why capacity is staying strong. It's really interesting how a little bit of knowledge can calm you down, right? Because it makes perfect sense. I feel it, you feel it, and especially the people who are actually behind the wheel, they're working double time just to stay afloat. Here's hoping that things change for the better sooner rather than later. Anyway, guys, wishing you an amazing rest of your weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.